Craig was like such a rule follower, and he didn't like my other interpretation of my other perception of what a gay Mormon is someone really conflicted and like with a lot of complication. And Craig just gave off the most. It was more that than the science thing. Like it was more that he was just calm. He seemed so calm. Like I mean, I guess he was sort of bubbling under the surface, but his countenance was just like so. He was always just like he just seemed happy and content, and I'm like, he's so not gay because look, he's not like I need like give me answers, you know, like he just wasn't like that.
Oh, so why weren't you stressed?
Or maybe you were.
Do you think that you were?
Well,
I mean, come to terms with it and.
In my own way, I think I found a place that made me happy. I think that one thing too is like when you're in the mission. I don't know if other people really feel this way because I think that a lot of people don't. But you're immersed in the mission and you are kind of following all the rules. It's giving you all this meaning to your life to be serving the Lord and be doing these things. And so it actually definitely put anything gay on the back burner for me.
Right.
You know, I mean. I did get to the point where it didn't really even cross my mind very often. Like, I just learned to really think about, you know, whatever we were doing and you know, trying to baptize and, you know, trying to convert people. And so whether I was gay or whether I was, you know, having those kinds of feelings didn't really come up necessarily. I mean, I was still kind of wondering what I would do with respect to the rest of my life, but I kind of didn't worry about it. I kind of thought, well, I have this faith that
God will take care of tomorrow.
Right, and I'll just figure it out. But I also didn't really. I mean, we were in Mexico, and I wasn't really. I didn't really have any companion that was like really attractive or anything like that. So I also was never really dealt with anything.
We were in Mexico. What does that mean? That's not right.
Right after I said it, I'm like.
No.
It's just that's not his type. Let's just put it that way. Right?
What's your type?
Although there were a couple guys, like I told you this before, like
yeah.
I did get to the point that like halfway through your mission where you just kind of like, I don't know, sometimes the work became kind of humdrum, and so I would kind of make this little game for myself where I would like pick hot guys to do the like street contacts with. So I'm like, if I have to do these street contacts, I at least want to do it with someone that has like, you know, a nice body, and I could be like, so, you know, like, what do you think about God? You know, just be like, you know, raping him up, teaching him up. But that didn't work.
You're like, I'll pick the cutest person and contact him.
Yeah.
Craig also cut everyone's hair, like in the mission. He was like the hair cutter.
Oh, you did?
Person. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Did you self-taught?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, because you do that with your companion, and so.
I did that too.
Did you?
Everybody would stop by our place and be done.
Just like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I empathize.
Yeah.
And you cut members' hair too.
I guess word got around, and I would cut my members' hair too. And this is kind of a funny story. He always laughs when I tell it, but like
it's really funny.
So, like, I kind of have one of my like, you know, sort of fetishes is like, I like these like hairy guys, right?
Right. I think I'm.
So, so I had a couple members in this one area who like, you know, I'd cut their hair. They learned that I would cut hair, and you know, so they would do it, and I'd always have them do it without their shirt because it was, you know, it's Mexico, it's hot, right? You know, you want to be like cool, and so.
You don't want to get hair on everything.
Exactly.
You don't, and you know, so shirts were off, just his. You know, okay. Anyway, and so he was like,
you took yours off too? I should take mine off.
I don't want to get your hair on my shirt.
Oh, trust me, I thought about it. But I'm like, it's P-Day and it's so hot out here, you know.
So funny.
And anyway, so I would like do this joke. I'd be like, da-da-da. I'd be like, oh, what if I cut your chest hair? And I'd like, it'd be my chance to like rub my fingers through it and to like pretend like I was gonna cut it, you know, make this joke.
Just as like a joke.
And like I like lived for that. Like the 2 or 3 times I got away with that. Oh yay! He's calling again.
Yeah. So Craig and I knew each other on the mission, and then the following year at BYU, when we both got back, and Craig had applied to BYU like from the mission, got accepted. He didn't go that freshman year. He's the same age as me, but he didn't go that first year. He just decided to stay home and go straight on his mission. So we ended up being next door neighbors at the University Villa. It's down like by the RB side. It's over there. So Craig was literally next door neighbor with me, like literally next door. And I was just like, oh, this is so funny. I'm like, this is so weird. It was a complete coincidence. We didn't like plan it. He didn't know I was living there. I didn't know he was living there. And I lived there with my brother Clay and two of my like best gay friends, basically, which is Dawn and then my friend Tim, who's married. I think I've talked to you about him before. He's married and he has 4 children. He's a doctor. So he took that road. He married this, woman who was like, they were great friends, and she knew everything, and they went into it with their eyes open, and they're doing well. So anyway, Craig and I were next door neighbors. Craig lived with his brother, and
well, he called me one day before I'd even moved there, and he said, "Do you know who Clark Johnson is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's like one of my friends from the mission." And he's like, "Well, he's our next door neighbor. I was just over there talking to his brother Clay and him. They seem really cool and everything, and he was really excited for me that one of my friends was going to live next door, because he was doing all of the housing preparation." And so I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, that it was this really karmic thing happening, because here I kind of had this opportunity to meet him, and become friends with him, and then here again, I mean, we didn't really interact enough to be like, let's definitely hang out when we get back or anything, because we were never in the same areas at all. Hardly.
Like, we hardly got to have like one-on-one conversation, because like, you're always with your companion, and if that person's not your companion, then we never lived in the same house. If we would have lived, like, because they always put 2 companionships per house a lot of times in our mission, and we were never in the same house, so it was just like one of those things. Like, I think
which is probably fine, because I probably wasn't really ready to like come out, and I would have it would and then when we lived together, it only took a couple weeks before I came out to him, because I wanted to do that, but I think it was good to kind of finish the mission first and not open up that Pandora's box, and then
we have another friend who actually I met him he was at BYU before our missions, and then he ended up in my hall in the missionary training center, and I didn't really know him that well before. Like, I'd seen him at the RB, or he was like a dancer, and he ended up in the same hall as me, and not in the same class, but we were like in the same district in the MTC, and he came out to me in the MTC, and it kind of was really bad on his mission, just because he really wanted to like explore, his sexuality and this whole thing, but he couldn't,
right.
And so, like, I was kind of his only outlet, and so he'd write me these letters, and then I would write him back, and they were always these like really funny like queer letters, you know what I mean? Like, they were like, and I guess in a way I was just trying to give him, I mean, it wasn't really premeditated, but like I just was like, he needs a way to like, explore this without being able to really do it, and he was a missionary, and I kind of felt like too much of his focus was on it, but how could it not be? You know what I mean? And it was a lot. It was really, really a lot. And then one of his companions went into his bags and like found the letters.
Went into his bag.
Literally went into his bags, found the letters, and then his mission president, he like went straight to the mission president, was like, these letters are just so inappropriate. And of course that missionary was like so like probably so like latent gay, like going through someone's bags and then like reading all the letters, like voraciously reading them like
right.
like Nancy Drew novel, and then going straight to the mission president. So then the mission president called this guy in and was like, this is so inappropriate, your relationship with this missionary, and I think you're in love with him. And he was like, I'm not in love with him, actually. And he was like, but you are. And he was like, I am. And they were like, yes, you're in love with him. And he was like, okay, I guess I'm in love with him. It was just like this whole thing. He was just like so bullied. Then his mission president called my mission president, and my mission president called me in and was like being really cryptic. He was like, so, have you been doing anything inappropriate? He was acting all like smug about it. And I was like, no, I haven't. And then eventually one week, I was in the mission office, and I noticed a letter addressed to me that had been opened and was just sitting on I had never received it. And it had been opened, and it was sitting like on this desk. It wasn't even in his office. It was like out in the mission office desk. I was like, what is going on? It was so crazy. And so finally finally my friend wrote me another letter, or I found out somehow that his mission president called my. So then I went back in and I was like, "You're opening my letters now." Like it was like this whole smackdown.
For one, it's illegal.
Well, hello.